Vieni a lavorare per me.
Sarete il mastro pasticcere di Francia. Ti do la mia fiducia per un compito delicato, rischioso, importante. Non devi deludermi.
I'm Elisa, nice to see you both.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Elisa.
My first question is for Jeremy. I'd like to ask you how it was to create your version of such a famous historical figure, one of the most powerful politicians in that period in Europe.
Ça n'a pas été une charge ou un poids. Je me suis vraiment très vite délesté. Alors, il y avait des codes qu'il fallait mettre en place, le fait qu'il soit un aristocrate.
Interesting, of course, I had to comply with the codes of the time, the fact that he's a nobleman and a diplomat and a politician. However, very quickly, tackling this character, I decided to also have a more modern take on the man, and this was according to Martin's, the director's will, who wanted to have a more modern take on the show. So this touch of something a bit more modern, so trying to apply the codes of the time, but finding a twist to make them look more modern. I didn't look or watch other shows or other projects to reinvent the man or the character, rather.
Le corps,
using my, the body language and the costume, and trying to figure out how this man used the language, and he playing with words. He was a master of words, so that I could play with the silence and also the words, and also connecting with other characters, and they, of course, the way this changes over the various episodes.
This show is really big, such as I think the last episode with all those persons to the banquet. So I'd like to ask you, what was the most challenging part to shoot?
We often think that the most important thing and the most difficult scenes to shoot is we often think that the most difficult scene to shoot is when you have a lot of extras and a lot of materials and a lot of camera. But sometimes the most difficult scene is the scene more intimated, with just two persons in the same room. So sometimes it's more difficult to find the good things, the good situation between intimate scenes, rather than the biggest scene at the end of the last episode. And in a way, the first scene of the first episode was really difficult to shoot too, maybe more than other scene with horses and with extras and that.
È il cibo che fa un paese, come la sua lingua, come la sua arte. È il primo che conosciamo.
Speaking of skills, I'd like to ask to Benjamin if he is a naturally talented chef, or how he prepared to be believable in this role of this exceptional cook that became the first chef in history.
Oui, ils m'ont mis un coach de cuisine.
They gave me a coach, a cooking coach, but in the end, it wasn't necessary. I was already an outstanding cook, but I needed a coach to help me act. So I had to work. I mean, the cooking I could be myself, but acting I had to be coached.
So I'd like to ask you, how do you prepare to fake this high level of proficiency in the kitchen? Benjamin told me before that he was already very good. So I want to ask you if you were so talented.
Bon, c'est pas pour me comparer à Benjamin
No,
ou
I don't
pour
want
être
to compare
prétentieuse,
myself
mais
with
je
Benjamin, of
pense
course. I don't want to be
avant ça
pretentious
être
either.
déjà une très 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 bonne
But
cuisinière.
I think I'm a
Et je pense que
very
beaucoup de
good
gens
cook.
raffolent de mes plats.
Lots of
Et je pense que
people,
c'est quelque chose
fight
qui me
to
hante depuis un peu
come to
toujours.
my table,
Depuis toute petite, j'aimais
and I've
beaucoup
always
cuisiner
loved
avec ma
cooking.
maman.
I've
Je
always
mentais
done
en
so
disant que j'avais
with
déjà
my
fini de faire mes
mother. I
devoirs
used to
pour aller
lie,
cuisiner
saying my homework
le
was
soir et
done,
cuisiner le
and
dîner
I
pour
could
tout le monde.
therefore cook with
Mais
her
là, il était un peu plus question
for the family.
d'acquérir
But
des
this
compétences un
is
peu plus
something a bit
professionnelles
different. I had to
et
acquire more
certaines
technical
comme
skills.
la technique, tout bêtement, qu'on peut avoir dans des vrais restaurants étoilés,
the sort of things
la
that are required
rapidité
for
et aussi,
starred restaurants.
comment je pourrais dire, les
And
épaules pour
also
être
the
un
fact
chef
that
et une
you
chef dans des cuisines aussi
can
prestigieuses
really
que
be
celles dans lesquelles on se
sufficiently
retrouve. Alors, on a
experienced
eu énormément de cours
and
avec
seasoned
Christophe Hatton, qui est un meilleur ouvrier de France et
to hold your
qui est
place
chef étoilé.
in a kitchen
Donc là, c'était vraiment
dedicated to haute
apprendre des
cuisine.
gestes
We
et des techniques
studied with
précises
Christophe
et
Adam,
acquérir au fil du temps
a
une
famous
sorte
chef
de
in
compétences
France.
sportives même,
So
et
to
vraiment
acquire these
s'entraîner tous les
skills,
jours. Donc on
it's
avait même
just
des
like
instruments pour s'entraîner
sports,
tous
you
les jours à la
see.
maison
We
et
had
reproduire ensuite
various
après sur le tournage.
tools that we
Et
had to
aussi, on
use
a
every
été
day
formés à
so as to
l'école
become
Ferrandi pendant
really
à peu près
very
2 mois
good
avec Benjamin.
at using them on
On
the
a pris des
set.
cours
And
très
we
tôt le
also
matin
had
avec les
classes at
élèves, et on a fait des
Ferrandi
services
School
très tard le
with
soir. On était
Benjamin,
vraiment considérés comme les élèves de là-bas, et
with the
on a
students
vraiment essayé
there, and we were considered
d'ingurgiter comme une
just like other
chorégraphie
students
non
in the
verbale, une
school,
sorte de
and we
physicalité,
tried
trouver
to
des
inject
personnalités
something
à nos personnages en
non-verbal,
cuisine
a
et en
lot
dehors
of
de
body
cuisine,
language that you
et
see
apprendre à se
in a
comprendre
kitchen,
aussi, surtout
so as to
pour les 2 rôles qu'on
manage to
interprète avec
understand each
Benjamin et
other,
moi-même, de se
without
comprendre sans
having
même parler
to
dans le
speak,
rush d'une cuisine, par exemple.
because this is what is needed when this is the rush hour in the kitchen.
Moi, je suis vorace, donc je peux manger.
I'm such a glutton that I can eat the same thing tons of time, and I don't like actors who have plates in front of them where they have barely touched. It doesn't seem right. As an actor, you have to go out and eat the food on the plate. And the great thing about the food is that the food in the series was like a real character. They paid real care to make sure that the lighting was good, that the dishes looked good, that the light, not only the light, they should be appetizing, some glowing to them. You could have a zoom on a piece of meat, and I love to look at that. The way in which food itself was treated like a character, it becomes the heart of the story itself.
Il cuoco, la spia, Carême.